King Charles urges civility and tolerance even in the most fractious times. The monarch called on the UK to be passionate but not pugnacious amid rising tensions over the war in Israel. King Charles has described the UK as a community of communities in a landmark speech in which he called for unity amid increasing tensions over the war in Israel. Welcome to Royal Pancakes. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notifications bell, so you don't miss any news about the British monarchy. The monarch warned that the temptation to turn ourselves into a shouting or recriminatory society must be resisted as he encouraged people to be passionate, but not pugnacious in debate, especially online. The king sought to calm tensions following violent protests over the bombing of a hospital in Gaza, urging civility and tolerance as well as mutual understanding. In a speech at Mansion House in the City of London, he said, "Such understanding, both at home and overseas, is never more vital than at times of international turmoil and heartbreaking loss of life." Last week, His Majesty led the royal family's strong condemnation of the violence, branding Hamas terrorists as he said he was appalled by the attacks on Israel. He also spoke to both Isaac Herzog, the President of Israel, and to King Abdullah of Jordan on the phone, and the following day, he held talks with Sir Ephraim Mervis, the UK's chief rabbi, at Buckingham Palace. The King's willingness to wade into such international events marks a notable shift in approach to that of his mother, Elizabeth II, who ensured that her personal opinions remained under wraps. In the wide-ranging speech, which focused on an appeal for calm, he said, "I have often described the United Kingdom as a community of communities, an island nation in which our shared values are the force which holds us together, reminding us that there is far, far more that unites us than divides us. Yet we are living in something of a watershed age." His Majesty mentioned looming uncertainties caused by the rise of artificial intelligence, as well as the stark realities of climate change. He also noted that it was in the digital sphere that civilized debate too often gives way to rancor and acrimony. The address came after violent protests erupted across the world over the killing of Palestinians in an explosion at the Oli Arab Hospital in Gaza City. The Israel Defense Forces, said Islamic Jihad, a group allied with Hamas terrorists, were responsible, but the health ministry in Gaza had earlier blamed Israel. In his speech, the king praised the breathing space we afford one another in Britain that allows us to think and speak freely, as well as the politeness and respect we owe each other. "The instinct to cooperate wherever and whenever possible is deep within us," he said. "Even in the most fractious times, when disagreements are polished, paraded and asserted, there is in our land a kind of muscle memory that it does not have to be like this, that the temptation to turn ourselves into a shouting or recriminatory society must be resisted, or at least heavily mitigated whenever possible, especially in the digital sphere where civilized debate too often gives way to rancor and acrimony." The king said, "Such instincts come together to enable us to fulfill our duties as good citizens who understand common decencies and mutual relationships." He spoke of the deep wells filled with shared histories and experiences on which we could draw to help give a sense of perspective and shared purpose. First, there is the deep well of civility and tolerance, on which our political life and wider national conversation depends, suffused with our sense of fairness and our devotion to the rule of law, he said. Have we succeeded in equal measure in schooling ourselves, and our communities, in the importance of our responsibilities towards one another?